the surface, I may seem like a confident young man who has his life completely in order. Routinely waking up at 4:30 every morning, having surpassed over 365 days without a single drop of alcohol, completing 359 gym workouts in a single year, graduating 2 university degrees with a 3.9 GPA, or solo traveling the globe for over 100 days while living out of a backpack. However, up until recently, I frequently experienced long periods of crippling anxiety, so I want to share my story and my top 3 techniques that I've used to conquer anxiety. As a teenager, I was extremely insecure. Whether it was my physical appearance or inability to articulate common words, my head was constantly filled with the imaginative judgments of those around me. After I turned 18 and graduated high school, I was fortunate enough to be awarded a scholarship to attend university in the city of Melbourne. So I moved out of my small hometown in the countryside and began my personal growth journey. I hit puberty very late, so the first few years of university kick-started the constant desire for self-improvement. From physical development with my gym workouts, intellectual development by working my ass off in my engineering degree, or the social development through branching out to build new friendship circles. During this period of constant change, my anxiety reached its peak. I was constantly overthinking the simplest of situations. Even at the grocery checkout, my brain would be bombarded with thoughts of what strangers thought about me, or whether I was going to mispronounce a word and embarrass myself in a simple conversation. When walking to university, I assumed the people around me were constantly judging me, and I struggled with the sweat patches that formed under my armpits from constantly being nervous, which would lead to the positive feedback loop of worrying what other people could see the sweat patches, which further increased my anxiety and the profuse sweating. This led me to my first string of wisdom. People really don't give a shit about what you're wearing or what you're doing. They're too busy focused on their own lives and problems, and you shouldn't worry about what people think unless they truly know your integrity as a person. Now, it took me a few years to really engrave this into my brain, but it's a helpful mindset if you ever experience similar thoughts. Now, the biggest turning point that enabled me to overcome my crippling anxiety was the constant pursuit to expand my comfort zone. Whether it was applying for a new job, forcing myself to make friends at work, partying at festivals with hundreds of people, or asking that cute girl out on a date, I started to seek the situations that made me feel most anxious, pushing through the friction. Now, I know this is easier said than done, but I view anxiety like an allergic reaction. When you're allergic to nuts, your brain falsely identifies the food as a dangerous substance entering your body. So it overreacts by causing inflammation and swelling as if it was fighting off an infection. By exposing yourself to microdoses over time, your body can begin to learn that nuts aren't a harmful substance, and the allergic response can be diminished. So when it comes to anxiety, by sitting in your thoughts and identifying the scenarios that your brain is exaggerating the potential danger, you can begin to gradually expose yourself to these environments and decrease your feelings of anxiety. For me, I started by developing full independence while living out of home and optimizing my routine, so the big new city that I used to fear gradually became like a playground. I continued to further expand my comfort zone by deciding to take part in a university exchange over the other side of the world in the city of Vancouver, Canada. Now, moving to the other side of the world, away from my family and my friends, and not even knowing a single person, sparked one of the worst bouts of anxiety I had ever experienced. But I told myself that if I continue to push through the semester of university, when I return home to Australia, I'll feel extremely comfortable. To this day, my exchange experience was one of the greatest periods of my life so far. From studying in a new culture, exploring the mesmerizing national parks, and meeting some of my closest friends from all over the world, this was one of the fastest accelerations in my personal growth. And if you get the opportunity to live in another country, then grasp it with both hands. A time of constant new experiences really developed my confidence in being able to adapt to new situations, and I finally began to silence the voice in my head that was constantly worrying about the opinions of others. Every time I was worrying about what someone would think about my appearance, I think back to the time I ran around the Canadian nudist beach completely naked in a blizzard, and realize that it's silly to worry about any situation that's less extreme. Now, I'm not saying go out and run around in public in the nude, because I don't want you to catch a case, but by thinking back to the times you survived a more uncomfortable situation, you can make any current circumstance feel less daunting. Unfortunately, my exchange experience was cut slightly short as I had to be deported back to Australia at the start of the pandemic, just a day before they closed their borders for over 2 years. Now, I'm confident everyone went through periods of struggle during this time, and with over 250 days of hard lockdowns, this year was certainly a personal challenge. After the pandemic blew over, I really focused on completing my university degree and gaining some more professional experience. But with my self-improvement obsession, I was really itching to get outside my comfort zone once again, so I pushed through the friction and pumped out the reps for the things that made me most nervous: first dates and job interviews. After successfully completing university, I was thirsty to expand my cultural awareness that I'd tasted when I was back living in Canada, so I decided to take a gap year to travel, backpacking Central America for 6 weeks with my sister and 2 friends before my solo expedition throughout Japan and Europe, where you can learn all about in this video right here. So looking back, I'm extremely confident in the person that I am today, and although I still have a lot of things I want to work on and continue my obsession with self-improvement, I want to share my top 3 techniques that I've used to push through these uncomfortable situations and feelings of anxiety. Step 1, the regret minimization mindset. The first tool is a mental model I use when faced with any big decision, whether to move out of home to attend university or whether to travel the world solo. I picture myself as an 80-year-old man sitting in his rocking chair while telling his grandkids a story about his life. Whatever decision leads to the most captivating story is the one that I choose. By following this framework, you will constantly opt for the decision that will expand your comfort zone and prevent you from having the feelings of anxiety from influencing your decisions. Tool number 2 is breath work. Breath work has been scientifically proven to lower anxiety and stress, and since it can be performed anywhere at no cost, it is such a powerful tool. So now, whenever I feel extremely anxious, I exhale all the air out of my lungs, then inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold my breath at the top and count to 7, before exhaling all the air out of my mouth for at least 8 seconds. Now I repeat this cycle until I can feel myself calming down as my body shifts to its parasympathetic nervous system. Now my final tool is building up a stack of undeniable proof. By slowly building up a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are, you'll develop the internal confidence that will stay with you throughout every situation. Like building up your body in the gym, every rep you perform creates a microscopic stimulus to grow your muscles. So exposing yourself to new situations that make you feel stressed or anxious will slowly build up your internal confidence. For me personally, I bucketed activities into 3 areas that I wanted to develop my confidence in. First of which was improving my physical self-image, which I did by getting obsessed with fitness and nutrition, transforming my scrawny physique into something that I'm proud to walk around in today. Secondly, I focused on my education and really pushed myself to succeed in university and expand my knowledge through podcasts and books. And finally, I improved my social intelligence by expanding my friendship circles and forcing myself to go on those first dates. If you made it this far through the video, then I hope you could take something useful from it to help you overcome your own feelings of anxiety. As you are probably aware, it's a continual battle, but hopefully this video can give you some tools and perspectives to sway the odds in your favor. Thank you.